Good afternoon, good morning, whatever time of the day it is, wherever you are, whatever time of the night it is that you might be watching this. Thanks again for tuning in with me, spending a little bit of time investing in yourself, and just becoming a better version of you. Give yourself a pat on the back. But I'm so happy that, we get another Friday together. And more and so happy that, a lot of you were blessed by last week's video. But this week, I won't keep you too long because last week it was about 30 minutes. So this week, let's give you something out there to consider. Nothing too crazy, just some things to consider. As I say, you don't have to agree with everything that I say. You don't have to believe in it. But if one person can take something away from it, or if you can share it with somebody, who may be in need of it, why not? Let's help each other. Reach one, teach one. This is a chain, So this week, there was something that, I began to think about as I was sitting around, one day. And I thought about, deviation really isn't bad in life, Going off track or going a different planned route, it's not bad. For years and times, I spent thinking that, failing is bad, or not completing a plan, or not, being able to follow through with certain things was bad for me, But as I've got older, I began to realize, that deviation leads to elevation, I remember, times in my life when there was nothing but pain, or it just felt like, didn't really know, what would be the next day or what tomorrow would bring for me, And oftentimes, we get these set plans in our mind that we think the way our lives are supposed to go. But they usually don't happen, and some of us can become so broken and just crushed over it to the point where, we never quite ever really bounce back. But, there's something about pain, Pain usually motivates people to do better, or to go get seen about, or to take care of their things, And there's another type of pain, that when you feel a certain burn, you want to quit, or you want to give up, And I felt like I felt, both sides of the pain spectrum. And, for me as a young kid, I didn't have the, perfect path, or I didn't start off the right on the prototypical journey, I went through some things as a kid, as a young kid, and it kind of, put me in a midlife crisis at a young age, where I felt like, man, this is tough. This is painful, I grew up seeing, other kids, having both parents, or, having a mother around, or having this or having that, and I didn't really have my biological mother, around as a kid, and it kind of frayed me for a while, and it created a pain within inside of me, but the pain just motivated me to become bigger, to become better, and it would have been real easy for me to give up, or just to throw my life to the side, or to stop dreaming, but I never stopped dreaming. And that's the point where you have to get to, and relating it back to deviation, as a young kid, I thought that, man, I got to grow up this way, grow up that way, and it didn't happen. And, I think me and all my siblings, we might have suffered a little bit from it mentally, But now that I'm an older man, I think and still tell myself, man, like, God is an intentional God, because if I had never got deviated from those plans, or never got taken out those specific areas and places, where would I be today, And I'm just so thankful and so glad that I went through the pain and went through the storms, Because most of the time, when the storms come and the waves get big, we begin to get afraid. Or we want to ball up and cry or stand in the corner. But at the end of the day, there's still a plan for our lives. And the man above, he's an intentional God, Everything that's happened to me, man, I've been through so much pain, man, and seen so much on both sides, man. It's like, I don't know, but I'm so thankful for everything that I went through, man, because it made me who I am today. Without those events, without those places, without those sights, without those feelings, where would I be today? Don't let your pain destroy you. Let it make you. There's elevation on the other side. It's okay to go through it. You don't have to be prototypical. There's no set book on life. There was a verse in the Bible, Matthew, a book in the book of Matthew. Don't remember the chapter on the top of my name right now, but I have it for you next week. It talked about Jesus being on the boat with the men. They set sail. They went out there in the water. The waves got high and they started crashing. The man above was on the boat asleep. But these men were afraid for their lives. They thought it was over. And Jesus awoke. And he said to them, "Ye of little faith." And he quieted that storm. The storms will come. There'll be tough times. Things won't always look good. There won't always be smiling faces waiting to greet you. There always won't be a hug waiting on you or a kiss on the forehead. But you must, and you can go on. The pain makes you. It made me. It'll make you too. Don't let it kill you. Don't let it destroy you. They said no weapon formed shall prosper. No weapon formed shall prosper. That don't mean the weapons won't form. It's going to happen. We're going to go through it in this life. But there's so much more waiting on you on the other side. If you just push a little bit farther. For quite some time, man, I was dealing with myself. I wonder how my peers see me. I wonder how others think of me, on this new level of knowledge, consciousness, dedication to myself, dedication to my children, dedication to the word of God. And I was like, man, this isn't what people seen for me. This isn't how people thought I would turn out. But this is what God did for me. This is who he turned me into. This is who he developed me into. I had to deviate from the plans of man. It would have been real easy to see myself in prison. See myself behind bars somewhere. 6 or 7 kids. No job, no career. Not a leader or being a follower. That would have been real easy. Because that's what man would have seen for me. And I go back to some of these places that I grew up in. And some of my peers, they try to reconnect with me. But I feel like I'm so far ahead mentally that there's a disconnect, And nobody wants to come up to the altitude, the cruising altitude where I'm at. A lot of people want to stay way down. So I'd always have to dumb myself down to fit in with people, to fit the plan of man. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to fit in. To get in where you're trying to go in your next life or to get to the next level in life, you got to fit out. That's the problem now with all the kids these days. Everybody following trends. Nobody setting a trend, but everybody following a trend. Take up your cross and follow. Dedicate yourself to something. Become something. Become somebody. There was a time when I didn't know who I wanted to be. But you know what? Now I feel more confident in who I want to be. I feel confident in myself. And I stopped worrying about what others think and how others may feel. Because at the end of the day, this is my life. Become who you want to become. Grow. Dream. Aspire. Deviate from the plans. Even aircraft, you see them hit the runway and they take off fast. For me, I don't know about y'all, the most uncomfortable part of the airplane ride is when it's taking off going up in the sky. Because I feel myself fall back in the seat with the torque of the plane. The plane started making a lot of noise. And I began to know we're going real fast right now. If something goes wrong, this is going to be the end. It's not comfortable deviating from the runway, grabbing up to your necks, to your cruising altitude. It's not comfortable. And a lot of people won't like it because everybody has their comfort zone. Told myself, God willing, I won't ever be living in the hood or going back to a hood unless it's there to do his work. Unless I'm there to do his work, excuse me. I won't be going back. It's not that I don't like them people. It's not that I'm scared of them people. But I can't grow in that place. Find yourself in a place where you can grow. Step out. This is a huge world. Occupy yourself with quality people, not quantity people. What you need most is change. I lived in 3 different places throughout my life for extended periods of time. The Carolinas as a youngin'. Excuse me. Florida. And now Texas. And I've learned and I've grown and took so much away from each place. I remember coming to Texas, man. I didn't even know that this city existed. Now here I am. Have developed and grown. Leave your comfortable places behind. Leave them behind. Being comfortable creates laziness. Don't get lazy on yourself. Go through the pain. In Afghanistan in 2014, I was on a routine patrol. Got blown up by IED. Blown up. Not many people can live to tell a story of a horrendous incident like that. Days later, I'm back out on patrol because I know I got a duty to take care of my other brothers out there. There can't be one less man out there on the battlefield. Was I scared? Yes. Was I hurting on the inside? Yes. But I trusted in God that He bring me back. There were some days when I thought that I might not ever see American soil again. But He brought me through the pain. And then I came back from all of that after fighting every day just to make it back to my family. Just to see my little baby girl again. Every day. Fighting, stay alive. Fight, stay alive. Fight to stay alive. Every day. I made it back. And God deviated from those plans that I had planned. I just wanted to see my baby girl again. To be a good husband. Because we all know that pain brings out a different formula in us. There was days out there where I said, God, if you just let me make it back to America, I'll be the best version of me I can. I'll do everything right. I begin to plead a case. I know some of y'all know what I'm talking about. That point where the pain gets so tough, man, you begin to say, God, I'll do whatever if you let me make it back. You start to cut a deal. But we know you can't cut a deal with God. You can't. He brought me back. And I was married at a very young age. And my ex-wife, she had different plans. And, you know, God had different plans for her too, you know. So now here I am getting divorced. Fresh off a deployment, fighting every day to come back to my little baby girl and to this woman. I found myself in a place above evil. I said, God, why'd you let me survive? Why'd you let me come back to endure this pain? Why didn't you just take me while I was over there? Why didn't you take me? At that moment, I just wanted to be gone. Because I felt I didn't have anything else to live for. And time went on. And I went through some more pains. Some more traumas. More than I could bear, I felt at the time. But he wouldn't let me quit. And he wouldn't let me give up. I cried. I became an alcoholic. I became a clubaholic. I tried to cope with everything there was. And it just caused me more pain. But today, I appreciate all of that pain. Everything that he had for me. He let it transpire for a reason. Now I'm stronger than ever. I'm better than ever. You can get through it. Don't quit. Don't quit. Deviate from your plans. It's okay. Mama might have not been there. Daddy might have not been there. You might have never had a parents. You might have got a felony. They might have told you you were stupid. They might have never said that you might have not been anything in this life. Overcome. Achieve. It's okay to be different. You do not have to fit in. 9 times out of 10, find yourself in a place doing the opposite of what others are doing. And you'll turn out better every time. Every time, I promise you. Being average is crowded. The road to greatness is empty. Because now we live in a time where everybody thinks somebody owes them something. Or that somebody gonna give them something. Nobody owes you anything. Most of the people that you want to root for you are traumatized themselves. They're trying to root for themselves. Push. And when you get tired, push some more. Push. I knew I had a baby at home and a wife. But when my first sergeant said, Davis, we need you on these missions. I know you just got blown up, but we need you. We need you again to go back out there. I strapped up my boots, put my pride and fear to the side, and I pushed on some more. And every time that I would go on a mission, I would get in that lead truck to be the first one in. Me and my boys. And I'd say, man, this could be it. I didn't tell my family. I didn't call and tell my wife at the time these things. I said, God, you're with me. The day that I got blown up, I called up on my radio and I said, all units be advised. There's a man out here walking across the road in a man dress. Seeing children, seeing men walking in poverty. It's not uncommon in the Middle Eastern region. But I said that because I didn't want anybody to run the man over. But after I said that, boom, there it was. Nothing but white light and dust taste in my mouth. It was blown up. Everybody that was behind me, that had on the radio, they looked for this man in a white dress. Nobody could find him. There was no trace. And there was no place for a man to escape off that narrow roadway. I began to wonder and think, what happened to that man that I seen? We as humans, we have to have seen something to say something. To call it up on the radio, you had to have seen something. And that day I seen a man. I couldn't tell you the color of the man because that's not important. But I seen him and he's looked at me. And to this day I believe that was my Heavenly Father. He was right there. He was right there. Right there with me. Protecting me that day. One of my friends that was in the vehicle beside me, he tells me the story sometime. He say, I seen your head back and blood rushing from your face. Heard you make a moaning noise and your body begin to flop. At that moment, I just knew you were dead and I had to drive on. But maybe 20 to 30 minutes went by. He say, I stood up and I grabbed my weapon and I began to hunt and search. It's got to be down inside of you. You got to be a warrior on the inside. All this on the outside means nothing. A man to get blown off his feet, to regain his composure, and to get back in the fight within moments. It got to be inside of you to fight, the will to win. You got to have it. That day after it was over, as I laid in the trench, I cried. I cried out hard. The only thing I could think about was my little baby, who's not even one, was this close to not having a daddy anymore. Not having a dad again. But he brought me through. So to him, I'm forever indebted. Because he's been there right through there by my side. Through it all. So I thank him and I owe him my life. I can never repay him for what he's done for me and my family. But on this day I tell you, keep fighting. There's more living within inside of you than you can ever imagine. Deviate from the plans. Deviate. Many men and women question, why I would want to do such a thing, to leave behind a home and go off to a service during a wartime. That wasn't the plan for me to be average. I didn't want to fit in, I wanted to fit out. There was more for me on the other side than there was staying in place. There's more waiting on you. Cry out and reach out daily. Spend some time with God. Meditate. He's waiting on you. Pay yourself the dues to become more. Become somebody. You owe it to yourself. Stop being weak. Stop being weak. Stop being weak today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Fight on. And that's what I leave you with on this Friday. Close the gap. Fight. Be tough. Be bold. Don't be afraid to stick out.